Hello there, so I have an announcement to make. No, it's not that I'm quitting YouTube, it's that I've had a haircut. No, not really, although I have had a haircut and I quite like it, it's alright, and I've shaved as well, so I look thinner and neater instantly without actually having to put in any effort whatsoever. Win-win. No, that isn't my announcement. My announcement is more stressful than that. You can probably guess what it is. I am moving house. Just a bit of an upgrade, really. And so that's what I've been trying to do for essentially the last 6 months. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, and I will make future videos about it, talking about the various steps. But in this video, I just want to give you a bit of an update, tell you where I am, what I've done so far, maybe what's next. So I started looking for homes back in about March. There was still quite a lot of coronavirus lockdown restrictions back then. Little did I know also, I'd kind of jumped on the house search market at exactly the time that the entire country, so it seemed, also jumped on the market for various reasons. People were coming off furlough, lockdown restrictions were easing a little bit, people had delayed moving because of previous lockdown restrictions, so there were a lot of people looking for houses. So I started looking and I noticed straight away things like not being allowed to view a house because mine wasn't on the market yet, or in some extreme situations, I wasn't even allowed to view a house because my house hadn't sold yet. So I looked around loads of places. I was outbid on virtually all of them. Some I fell in love with and spent time thinking about how I would do them up, only to be outbid, or to just have my bid rejected because my personal situation wasn't as secure as other people who'd made bids. So I got the ball rolling and listed my place, and it sold within a month. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail there. I will do again in a future video. The situation there is that I'm probably less than a month away from completion, but you know what solicitors are like. Seems to be a bit slow and a lack of communication. I understand they're very busy, but a little update every now and again, telling me that things are going well, wouldn't go amiss. Eventually, I found a property in an area that I like in my local city for a price that was more than I was expecting to pay. I ended up having to, well, basically my budget increased by about £45,000 in order to buy a small detached property that I liked the area, the look of, the feel of, etc. And even then, it does need a fair amount of updating. I'm more of a saver than a spender, I like to think. So, but I kind of decided here, you know, the housing market is a weird thing here in the UK, and I decided that it's probably best to spend the most I could comfortably afford rather than trying to do it on the cheap. I put in an offer on a house, it was accepted, and I'm probably about, well, I should be about a month away from completion, but in order to accommodate the sellers who currently own the property, they want to move out at the end of another month, and I'm absolutely fine with that because I'm not in any rush. So I'm going to break my chain, which might cost me a little bit because I might have to cancel certain utilities and things, and there's all fees associated with that. My stuff, a lot of my stuff is going to have to go into storage. I just want things to go smoothly. So I'm not going to be demanding or aggressive. I'm just going to accommodate people and get very upset if it all goes wrong. But yeah, so that's that side of things. The legal things I've found stressful because I'm not getting a lot of communication. And I'm sure some of you will say, well, you know, you're paying your solicitor, just contact them and ask for an answer. Yeah, you're right, and I have done that several times, actually. You know, sort of 3 emails to get a response about a simple question just tires you out, really. I mean, I just can't be asked to chase all the time. I'd rather show my disapproval by not using this particular solicitor in the future. But, you know, there's some time to go between now and the end of this transaction. So maybe they will redeem themselves and I will think they are marvellous. We shall see. So, the various stresses. You worry about your buyer pulling out. You worry about your seller pulling out. Certain houses in the area where I'm looking seem to be going up by 10k each time a new one on that road comes up. It's really, really frightening and disheartening for people trying to buy houses. Now, hopefully the market will cool off, and that's from somebody who's probably overpaying slightly on a property. I don't think a house price bubble is a fantastic idea, so I wouldn't mind seeing them correct slightly. In terms of removals, I'm getting a removal company to move some of my big items. The purchaser of my property is buying a lot of the furniture, which is going to help me out. I've got a friend who's got access to a van and we're going to move some stuff together. Everything has to move in the interim to my parents' house here, to the garage and upstairs in the spare room, and then it's going to have to be moved from here to the next place. The actual packing process has taken me days and days, is very tiring. It's very stressful when you think you haven't got that much stuff, but believe me, when you look in your cupboards and things and you start packing, you discover you actually have got more stuff than the British Museum. And then after you've packed it and you've moved it all and everything weighs a ton and you're exhausted, then you realise you're going to have to unpack it at the other end. And of course that's why a lot of people pay to have things packed and unpacked. One of the biggest and most stressful aspects of this to date for me is the mortgage application. I'm having to borrow based on my YouTube income and my PAYE income in order to borrow the amount that I need. And so that's more complicated. A lot of mortgage providers, they treat self-employed income as kind of lesser than PAYE income. And if you've got a combination of both, then they can treat it all in the same light, self-employed income. So it's harder to get a mortgage. I'm taking out a 5 times annual salary mortgage. Most mortgage providers, I think they're capped at lending 85% of their mortgages can only be 4.5 times the salary. And you think of the average salary in the UK is probably about 30 grand, probably slightly less than 30 grand. 4.5 times, 5 times 30 is 150 grand. Say you had 20 grand in cash, that's 170,000. You really, as a single applicant, there aren't many houses here in the east of England that you could get for £170,000. It's pretty chronic. So the housing market is really skewed towards couple, joint applications. Now, my girlfriend isn't buying this house with me. I sort of felt that actually, financially, it was a more sensible move if her salary wasn't factored into the mortgage application. It's a safer way than gambling your entire joint income on your monthly mortgage payments, in my humble opinion. But that was a very stressful process. Took me about a month to get a mortgage. I went through a mortgage broker, which again, I will talk about in a future video. I highly recommend going through a mortgage broker if your situation is just kind of more complicated or you want to borrow a little bit more. It does cost a little bit of money, but actually, I wish I'd gone to a mortgage broker years ago, because it turns out, for this mortgage broker at least, the fee is valid for your entire lifetime. So I could have gone to a mortgage broker last time, got a better interest rate probably, and used the service for free this time. But the application process took about a month in total. In the end, I could borrow less than I thought I could because of my self-employed income. I got asked questions by the mortgage provider, which I had to answer. It was nerve-wracking because ultimately, if the mortgage provider won't lend you the amount of money you need, you have to stump up the extra cash yourself, which I could to some extent, but beyond a certain point, you have to withdraw your offer on the house you want. And that is a stressful proposition when house prices are going up and you really are a bit millennial about where you want to live. Now, this video isn't about boasting. I'm just trying to keep you up to date, and I wanted to share this information because it is becoming increasingly difficult to film videos with a huge amount of enthusiasm, to think of brand new ideas. I do have a sort of creator fatigue at the moment. Been making videos permanently on this channel for about 5 years, and I used to wake up on a Saturday morning and just know instantly the video I was going to film, or spend 10 minutes in bed and then I'd think of a good idea. And indeed, my most popular video on this channel was a split-second decision in bed on a Saturday morning. But it's not really just creative fatigue. It's more the fact that last night I did a load of packing of stuff. I'm tired, and it's quite difficult to do that and then do a video. Now, 99% of you are absolutely fantastic. My Patreons are incredibly fantastic and supportive and understanding, which I'm pleased about, because it gives me faith that humanity is, there's some kindness out there. Some people seem to think that my YouTube channel is a service, that I owe my viewers something, and that I'm doing something actively bad or inconsiderate when I do certain types of video or something. Yeah, I am if you're a Patreon and you pay to watch my videos. Then if all my Patreons turn around and say, actually, all of these videos, they're really crap, those people are then free to stop paying their Patreon subscription, not have their names mentioned, not have their names shown on the screen, and do other things. And do you know what? My Patreons, even the ones who have left, they've often written me personal messages to say why, and I completely understand that, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're just a watcher of my videos, just please accept that some videos may not be that interesting to you, and please accept that I've got a lot going on in my life at the moment, and so things might be more... I'm still going to try and do weekly uploads, but things might be a little bit less fluent than they would usually be. That was a rant, wasn't it? Anyway, where am I at the moment then? So, waiting for my current place to properly sell. Then there may well be a month's gap between that and completion of my new place, and then I will move in. My seller's estate agent is being quite sort of pushy. They're kind of like, your sale will complete in 2 to 3 weeks. Well, that had been news to me, but because she's so kind of in my face about it, I'm having to make arrangements. So contacting removal companies and trying to get some kind of plan in place, just in case I all of a sudden, having heard nothing from my solicitor, get a letter through the door saying your completion date is in a week and a half. It may not be that easy at that point to then kind of get things moved and arranged. Anyway, it is stressful, but things have kind of ticked off my list. The mortgage application was a big one for me. Making sure that my sale was going through smoothly was a big one. We seem to be moving closer towards the end. I just wanted to give you an update about it. If you've got any questions, let me know down below. I am going to give you a tour of the new place if I ever get into it. I put off making this video because I don't want to jinx it. Don't believe in that sort of thing. But what I'm trying to say is, if this does all go wrong, yeah, don't be so surprised. But I'm going to give you a tour. I'm going to have a lot of DIY and stuff to do, and so there will be the odd DIY video, like I did when I bought my parents' place, but I didn't do that much. It was mainly just pulling wallpaper off. But I'm going to be doing things like fitting laminate flooring. I might even make videos on painting and stuff. Anyway, did you know that my Patreons get early access to all of my videos? Their names scroll across the screen at the end of my videos, and I say the names like George Foote, Magnanimous Meg, Jim McCaig, Jennifer Jones, and Ross Carter. I actually say their names out loud because they are generous patrons. Yeah, you can support me. My link is down below if you're interested. Thank you for watching my video. Do subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I shall see you next time, and I'm going to try and say video again for another video.